caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. Welcome, everybody, to the Caltrop. How are you? I am your host, Michael Calderese, and you are watching the Caltrop. And we are obviously your defense mechanism from all the bullshit, all the lies, and all the stories that you are hearing online. And boy, are you hearing a lot of stories. The blame game is incredibly strong with the people on the left and the right. Man, can these politicians point fingers and blame and blame? But the problem is, when they point fingers, is a big, giant, ugly wart on the edge of their finger. And we are going to discuss it. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Obviously, if you can, share this early on. Let everybody know that this is going on. We have a packed show for you tonight. And I'm going to apologize right now because, you know, I took the weekend off. I was having a really good time. I was chilling out, maxing, relaxing, really all cool, and shooting some cornhole in the backyard, really. Just hanging out on July 4th. And I hope you guys had a great July 4th. And I get to this to the show today, and I'm used to being able to move all of my videos in a way to where I can organize them. And somehow StreamYard's a little bit different. It seems like I have more capability now with raising the volume, lowering the volume of certain guests and all that, but it seems like I have less capability. I will be a little bit unorganized, and I apologize for that. I cannot figure out how to order these things. Maybe it's something new that I will figure out and join. But like I said, we have a huge packed show for you tonight, guys. It's going to be me and you all night, but there is a lot to talk about. Obviously, the Texas floods, and I'm going to come at it from a little bit different of an angle. I'm honestly going to come at it from the asking a lot of questions angle, because I'm sick and tired of just the accusations being thrown out there. You see in some TikTok videos, hearing some things going on. I want to discuss what's true. There's a lot to discuss there. It does get into the weather modification vein, and I'm gonna warn you right now. If you think that's all conspiracy, you're sorely mistaken. But we're going to be getting to that. But mostly, whose fault is it? Is there a fault to blame? Could it be a hurricane? Could it be these things? We're going to try to dissect all of that. We obviously have the big, beautiful bill. I'm going to touch on that very, very, very briefly. We have Mexico protests in Mexico City. They're the best thing I've ever seen in my life. They're the most ironic thing. When we talk about that, you are going to love the irony of what's going on down there. It's absolutely. It should be in a movie. I mean, this is like Tarantino type stuff. Couldn't think of his first name, but this is stuff that he needs to make in a movie. What's going on in Mexico? And we have the FBI saying case closed to a specific file that we've been losing our minds about. But let's get and start off this show properly with the first segment. All right, guys, you ever notice how fast these politicians do show up to these disaster sites? They're faster than FEMA, they're faster than first responders, and they may even be faster than the ambulances, but they're not there to help, and they're not there in reality. They're there to show up to campaign on their corpses. They're not there in reality, they're there in spirit. Because in reality, there's dead kids, floated homes, cities on fire. They don't care. It's all a photo op in a blame game, and it's the Trump blame game, and it's disgusting. While they're pointing fingers, they're also condemning finger pointing. In the same fucking sentence, That's talent. That's what happens when your spine's made of Play-Doh and your brain's sponsored by Pfizer. It's the what's awesome is the smartest man on the left needed a stroke to think properly, and you know who that is. But the left, they've turned this into an art form. These people blame Trump for every hurricane, drought, and wildfire. Hell, I'm like shocked they're not even blaming him for the dinosaurs going extinct. But here's the kicker. They've controlled government for 20 of the last 28 years. Did you hear that? You had the power, and all you managed to do was create higher taxes, more rules, and have fewer freedoms, while still bitching about climate change, even after 50 years of failed predictions. And their solution to climate change is rob you blind. Because in their fantasy world, every time they raise your taxes, a polar bear gets its wings. Meanwhile, they let planes and drones fly around cloud seeding, manipulating the weather like we're living in a bad sci-fi movie. But if you mention that, you're a conspiracy nut. Even though companies literally advertise it worldwide. We have an American company doing it in Texas right now. But we'll get to that. I'm just saying for right now, stay tuned for that part. You can't drive a gas car, but they can fly chemtrail-filled planes over your house. But remember, you're the problem. Speaking of problems, let's talk about the left's new hobby, promoting violence, then crying victim when it explodes in their faces. ICE agents getting doxxed, attacked, called Nazis by the same crowd who needed therapy dogs and safe spaces after Trump hurt their feelings. Cops getting shot, and now a guy in full TAC gear attacks a Border Patrol agent. I guess his stuff must have been from Temu. It was clearly not bulletproof. But these politicians have to be held accountable for their words. You people demonize cops, ICE, Supreme Court justices, and then we act shocked when the psychos show up to shoot, burn cities, or beat somebody for wearing a MAGA hat. They've normalized political gang warfare. Wear red, you're a gang member now. No joke, some neighborhoods got less tolerance for a Trump hat than the Bloods and Crips have for crossing turf lines. But don't worry, the right's know better. You've got the truth warriors like Pam Bondi, Bongino, Kash Patel, who want us to believe Epstein's little black book magically disappeared, or worse, didn't exist at all. Case closed. Billionaire pedophile island, global trafficking ring, but no clients. Sure, I guess it was just Epstein, Maxwell, and some ghosts. Maybe Casper isn't so friendly after all. I guess it was just him, Slimer, and Zool. Sounds very erotic. And these clowns think we're too dumb to connect the dots? Only months ago, they swore the list was coming. Any day now, we got sources now. Silence, it's all nothing. Either they're lying or they're in on the con. Probably both. They think we're cattle. Eyes down, morons, check your phone and believe the script. And 5 months into this year, honestly, what's changed? The border's way better, outstanding. But remember, in 2016, Trump asked for $5 billion for a wall. They laughed him out of the room, Republicans and Democrats. Fast forward, they approve $45 billion for half of the fucking thing because math apparently is racist now too, and they can't do it. And some of those names who voted against him in 2016 are in his cabinet today. And Speaker Johnson, total fraud, replaced McCarthy, promised no more giant spending bills, no more CRs, no more fiscal insanity. And what did we get? 2 CRs, 1 mammoth omnibus bill, and more debt. Congress is a friend that borrows money, spends it on hookers and crypto, then asks, hey, can I get some more with a straight face? Those of you who have been with me for years know I was against him from the start, and he's proven me right like Dr. Fauci with COVID. But at least Trump talks to us, even if it's explaining how to outrun alligators. You zigzag, right? Which is ironic because surviving politics in this country requires the same damn strategy. Zigzag, dodge the lies, avoid the crocodiles in suits, and pray you don't get eaten. It's amusing, though. That's good enough for our Congress people, but it's not for the people that are here illegally. Outstanding, right? I'll say this. I don't blame Trump, honestly. I blame the morons in Congress and the Senate who will never change, and it's time for term limits. Since Trump was in office, I said that the main problem that was going to be facing every single one of us, and Trump included, is these congressmen and are these senators. So the only way to fix this country is to fix that problem, and they are a giant problem. That's the Mike's Right, and I hope you shut up and listen. All right, how are you guys doing today? Let me get into the chat, say hi to everybody. I have to get my phone. The way I have this all set up is absolutely incredible. Who's the first one in the chat? Is that Jay Calvin? Jay Calvin sitting on the couch. He is the first one in the chat, followed up right behind Yankee 68. Thank you guys very much for being in the chat with us. I hope everything's going right. It looks like everything's on, and I see that we're there. If you are in, I can't see the comments in Facebook. I got to figure all that stuff out, guys. I do apologize. I am not the best when it comes to all of this stuff, when it comes to all the technical stuff. But let's do this. Let's get into some in-depth breakdowns, and I honestly have no idea. Absolutely. Oh, there it is.
In-depth breakdowns.
Yeah, this is going to be very irritating, guys, and I do apologize that right off the bat. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with this, but I don't know. So let's start here. The saddest thing took place, and this is the Texas rain, and things that I see are honestly some of the most disgusting shit that you could even possibly imagine. And this is the stuff that you see automatically coming out right here. Dozens of little girls are dead in Texas because Trump and Elon Musk defunded NOAA and the National Weather Service. That was from Occupy Democrats. Now we all know Occupy Democrats are a bunch of morons. We all know exactly what the hell they are. And you have people like another idiot, Rosie O'Donnell, says when the president guts all the early warning systems, the weathering forecast abilities, these are the results. We're going to start to see this on a daily basis. He's put this country in so much danger. Now, call me a crazy conspiracy theorist. That's okay because they all becoming true. If we know for a fact, and we know for a fact that they can 100%, in fact, cloud seed, and when the conditions are right, they get cloud seed to a lot of incredible effects. So let's get into this part of this because this was absolutely ridiculous. This is going to be very difficult to do this. So let's just start here. Everyone wants to point fingers, whether it's Trump, whether it's climate change, whatever you want to say. The climate change people are going to obviously try to push this agenda, and they push this and push this and push this. One of the things you will never hear from these people are anything about weather modification. We have weather modification. According to NOAA, you know the people, the thing that everybody is crying about, NOAA? NOAA actually has a system where you could go in and you could check on the weather modification events and where they are taking place. So let's just start here because I want to show you a couple of maps. This is Texas. That box and that dot is basically what got hammered. Okay, that is what got hammered with that rain, whatever caused it. Some people are saying it was a mix because there's a tropical storm in the Gulf or whatever, and that held everything up and made it to where it wanted to sit right over one area and just absolutely pour. I don't think that's absolutely ridiculous because fact is, when you go back 100 years, a similar thing happened in the exact same area. So this isn't unprecedented in the entire landscape of Earth throughout Earth's entire existence. I think it's safe to assume that that type of area that's in a valley, all these valleys, coming off mountains, they have a tendency to overflow. We know this. You know who else knows this is everybody else that is cloud seeding right now and can manipulate the weather. And what I'm going to tell you going forward, I'm not blaming this company, and I'm not saying they're up there doing this. What I'm saying is we have active politicians right now that are screaming climate change while letting companies, American companies, seed clouds for different benefits. And the benefits are vast. In Texas alone, they do it as hail mitigation. And they also try to make it rain in drought-ridden areas. All they need is a cloud. All they need is a nice, juicy cloud, according to the guy who owns Rainmaker. And we're going to show you him in a second. But he's very interesting. He was on the show. He was on the Sean Ryan show. But remember, this is where the area that got affected. Okay. Now they have this all the way at the bottom, so I have to scroll at the bottom. Usually, I would just have it right next to us. Now this is where all the cloud seeding is going on in Texas. Now I want you to look at that red area, and I want you to look at that green area. Right above that green area, there's Kerr. There's Kerrville. Okay, let's bring it up a little bit higher. You see right in the middle of the screen, you see Kerr. Right in between the red and right at the bottom of that green, there is Kerr sitting right there. Now, what I just showed you, this chart here, are all the areas in Texas that they are actively doing cloud seeding according to this company called Rainmaker. Okay, Rainmaker is a California-based company. I believe they have their safety protocols in Delaware. Okay, the guy claims that everything they do, they use a silver iodide to make the ice, the particles freeze onto the silver iodide high up in that atmosphere, and then it comes down in snow, but it always turns to rain as soon as it hits the warmer weather. But that's what they do, and that's what they've admitted to doing. Now, just to show you all, I come with receipts. I do not come with a lot of innuendo and a lot of bullshit. This is cloud seeding. Oh, sorry. Once again, this is these guys have me messed up with this, with all of this. Wherever they have this is really bothering me how they have this stuff. Now see, nothing is together, and it's pissing me off right now. All right, so. Cloud seeding 1, let's just go through this. This is a technology Rainmaker utilizes a combination of advanced techniques for cloud seeding. This includes precision numerical weather modeling to identify and optimal cloud formations, for seeding and unmanned drone systems for efficient and precise distribution. Okay, the company is also working on developing potentially superior nucleating agents that are more efficient and safer than current options like silver iodide. The guy made a comment about taking testosterone into the air. It's very interesting. Now, the goal of Rainmaker aims to reverse desertification, particularly in the American West, with the ultimate ambition of transforming deserts into arable land. They target a diverse client roster, including governments such as departments of Utah, Colorado, Santa Ana, and all over the place. So this is stuff that every single person that you talk to in this business, they 100% agree that we are doing this. Not only are we doing this, we are doing this in certain areas, and we're doing this for the benefit of increasing rain. And some places said that we could increase rain over 20%. Okay. I think this is the Rainmaker doc. There we go. I found it. All right. So here it is. These are the receipts I was talking about. Now, this is for rain. This is for rain enhancement, hail, and suppression. This is for Texas. And this is the second document. This is for this is for South Texas. And then this is for West Texas. All right. Number 2 is for South Texas. This is South Texas. Once again, Rainmaker Technologies. Okay. This is all Rainmaker Technologies. And they said they're a cloud seeding company based in El Segundo, California, founded by 2023. So I'm not saying, once again, I want to make this very clear to everybody before anybody jumps to any conclusions and yells at me. I'm not saying this company cloud seeded right before this storm and did something nefarious. I am 100% not saying that. But what I am saying is they are 100% doing it. And here's the NOAA data. Okay, this is, if you look at the bottom of the page, or sorry, the second to the last one, West Texas weather modification. This is 3/15/2025 to 10/31/2025. That means that weather modification, and if you look at it, it says, once again, rain enhancement, hail suppression. What does that tell you? That tells you that West Texas, that blue area that I was just telling you about, let's bring that back up. Sorry, the red area that I was just telling you about. There you go, orange. There you go, red. That's that West Texas area that they are talking about. Okay. Now, go to this one. And I'm just picking out the ones in 2025. If you look at South Texas Weather Modification Association, 3/5/25 to 11/29/25. Rain enhancement. This one is specifically for rain enhancement. That was South Texas. That's that green area right there. They're enhancing the rain in that area, and they've been doing it since March. All right, and these are a couple of the other ones. Once again, if you look at South Texas weather modification event, that's a different one, another rain enhancement, 3/5/2025. These are all things that are on publicly available information from NOAA. That's NOAA's data in and of itself, because this is not illegal. As a matter of fact, some of the people that are saying right now that Donald Trump is the fault of this voted to allow us to weather manipulate while claiming it was all a conspiracy. These are the things that you have to understand when you see both sides going at each other, because you don't really know what the hell is true. And I really don't want you to be one of those people that say, oh, cloud seeding was 100% the reason why it happened. I think that's a very possible case. If we are just happen to be cloud seeding in one area and we want to blame Trump for something, and it's very easy to make it rain on an optimal storm 25, 30% more, we know they have the ability to do this. And we know we have the ability, we just saw them come out and immediately blame Trump and climate change. So if you could create weather events, and this is all I'm asking, you tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. Knowing human, is it beyond the realm of human possibility and human politics that they could create a weather event that caused an absolute catastrophe so they could try to gain politically? Does anybody think that's beyond the realm of political capabilities here? That's all I'm saying. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm saying, is it possible? Do we have the capabilities as humans to make it rain more in particular clouds and particular storms? Yes. For a fact, yes, we do. It's not conspiracy anymore. It's not conspiracy when you have companies getting tax breaks over it. It's not conspiracy. They would say follow the science. I'm following the science. It's coming down in silver iodide. And this guy claims by putting that much in the atmosphere, it's not coming down and affecting soil levels at all. What I want to know is how much is staying up in the atmosphere. How much is hanging out up there that maybe doesn't get picked up into the cloud? Maybe when you spray that silver oxide in there, some just gets spread out and it gets brought up with all the different wind events, and maybe it doesn't, doesn't create something right now that you want in that particular cloud. But when another cloud passes, it's able to pick that silver iodide up in its system. Do we know about that? I haven't been able to find anything about that. But these are the things that we have to consider. And when anybody's going to sit here and tell me that I have to modify how I live, I have to keep. Phil Murphy's trying to tell me to keep my air conditioner at 80 when it's 100 degrees outside. While they want to push electric cars, what's it? When everybody gets an electric car, you keep it at 90? You can't run your AC when it's hot? Is this what we're doing? You guys want me to sacrifice. You want me to trade in my car for a little shitbox. You want me to keep my AC that high. You're blaming all this stuff and saying me making those little changes in life, I know it's not going to make a difference, but you think it's going to change the climate and help out. But we're not saying anything about weather modification. This is weather modification. And I don't give a shit what anybody says about weather being different than the climate, and the climate is this, and the weather, climate is macro and the weather is micro. Bullshit. When you have China sending up drones every day trying to make it rain and change, you have Dubai, you have all the Middle East. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? People say, oh, let's bring in hydrogen cars. Well, what happens when you're putting all that water vapor into the atmosphere? We don't think it's going to rain then? It's been doing nothing but raining. It's been raining nonstop. I've never seen a year like this where it was rain, even in June in New Jersey. Never. I'm not saying they're doing it up here, but are they? When have you seen weather like this? I mean, it's been around for a very long time, but it seems to be happening over and over and over again. And all of a sudden, you look back at it and say, why aren't we like MTG? And you know me, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I give her no credit whatsoever. I don't like her at all. But she came out and she said, I set up a bill where we are going to ban this practice. I don't understand why we are messing worldwide. Everybody's messing with the weather. We don't think that's going to affect the climate overall. We don't think that adding this much more rain and moisture onto the ground is going to affect the climate at all. What if somehow we're taking the moisture from up top and bringing it to the bottom, and that creates a greenhouse or some type of different effect that everybody's been scared about? Once again, the things that bother me is we do not have any way to test this earth. We don't have a way to test this earth. So all we're doing is throwing shit out there and hoping it doesn't fuck us up. And let's play a little bit of this guy, if I can even find these things. I can't find absolutely anything. Let's play a little bit of this guy. Did I get it in? This is so hard. This is honestly, like I said, I apologize, guys, But this is, oh, here we go. Here we go. Check this out. Then this guy goes on to say, I wouldn't worry about the shit I'm putting up into the sky. You should be worried about your drinking water, because guess what's in your drinking water?
Like birth control's in all water now?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's poisoning us that we should be like really concerned about right now.
There's birth control in the water.
Yeah. One, Alex Jones was right about the atrazine and what it does to frogs.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Two, there's a bunch of other stuff that's probably androgenizing us, that's not good. Women take hormonal birth control. They then, urinate. That goes into the water system. A lot of cities recycle their water, but we don't have any specific filtration mechanism for those hormones. So they just get recycled and pumped back into the municipal water supply.
So is this like a significant amount of birth control in the water?
Yes.
And there's an infertility problem.
Yes.
How does it affect males? Do you know?
It makes you more asexual. Yeah, so it makes you less of a guy and more of a sort of, I don't know, like the way that most guys are now.
The way that most guys are now. Yeah. I've heard there's so many conspiracies about the chemtrails, and I've heard that they're spraying estrogen in the air to...
Well, let me tell you something, though.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
So the material that we use, it freezes the liquid in cloud into snowflakes that fall, right? Pure testosterone. It's not as effective, but it's almost as effective as silver iodide. So if we really want to make America healthy again,
put up a whole shitload of testosterone and let's start raining it on our guys. I think that's a great idea. I mean, you hear these idiots putting vaccines in plants and the whole 9 yards. Instead of raining estrogen, let's rain some testosterone. If anything this world needs is more testosterone. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't see many of you guys commenting. I don't know if it's a thing with Rumble or whatever's going on, but if you have any comments, put them in the chat. Also, remember, if you ever want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me any one of my socials. Find me at Mike Calderese on Facebook. We are Center Cut Media. Listen, for whatever reason, if you can't find us on Rumble or anything else, try it as one word or try it as two words. Center Cut Media. I broke it up sometimes with the spacing and the whole 9 yards. It messes it up. But I am definitely Center Cut Media no matter where we are. But listen, let's put a bow on this entire thing. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's one thing or the other and it's the other. I'm going to say that I think all of them are possibilities. Is it a possibility that it was just natural, that there was an actual, situation where you had a low pressure system that was building up over here, you know what I'm saying? And then kind of floating its way up. And then you had this pressure that was pushing down on it. But those two were clashing, they were going at it and you couldn't move past it until that thing worked itself out. And then that one was able to cross. Is that a possibility? Could that also happen? Yes. These are all 100% possibilities for this. And, instead of stopping for a second and coming up with the idea of, okay, let's get some real people out there that don't have an agenda to figure out what really was it. Is it did some of the cloud seeding events that are 100% going on right now, did that have to do with this? Did it contribute in any way, shape, or form to make this a worse situation? And if we're not asking that question and we're just pointing the fingers and we're just blaming and we're going to blame someone like Trump, who's had 5 years out of the how many years that these people have been in office and how many years they've been screaming about climate change. If you're just going to hear that and you're not going to hear them talk about the real things on either side, neither side's talking about weather modification. Thank God Marjorie Taylor Greene actually is. And I'm sorry, I can't find where she said it, but it is what it is. None of this is organized. It's just kind of in haphazardly. There's up here, down there. Usually I put them right in order. But let's talk about one other thing. And I've been wanting to just to kind of touch back on this, because I think this is a great time really to do it. And you go, what's happened to Maui? That story went away really fast, too. It's funny how all these horrible stories, they're so quick to blame Donald Trump for all this stuff. Well, this took place when? I'm pretty sure, when this happened in Maui, Donald Trump wasn't in office. Right? Was that Joe Biden in 2023? The devastating wildfires, remember this? Since then, sorry, I put it up a little bit too early in 2023. Since then, how many homes do you think have been built? 8. 8 homes have been completed and 368 permits issued. Other reports say 5 homes have been completed with 16 more under construction and 24 approved for rebuilding. This is 8 houses. 8. How many years ago was this 8 houses? And why? It's unbelievable. So that's what they say. 228 permits for new construction have been issued. Only 228. That's all they could, I guess, muster. And they've finally been rebuilt. Like I said, let's go to the third one here. Regulations they're blaming are the problem. They're meant to protect the Lahaina's culture and environment. They're causing delays and frustrations for those trying to build. Additionally, some regulations, particularly those related to shoreline protection, are impacting the rebuilding efforts. On a recent report, says the county's long-term recovery plan estimates the restoration of historic structures will take at least 6 years. However, some expect it to be completed sooner. But we're talking about 2,200 houses, $5.5 billion of damage, 2,200 structures, 2,200. 2 years later, there's 8 rebuilt. 8. I guess that's why they're not talking about it, because this is too embarrassing to talk about. That just somehow everything on the island failed. Everything. Do we remember this? Nothing worked. Not the water system, nothing. Then there was reports of people getting funneled into kill zones. Everything was a clusterfuck. Nothing worked. And now 2 years later, that same government who oversaw the absolute horrid situation in Maui are the ones that can't even get their shit together to rebuild it. It's a tourist zone. And they can't, there's only a limited amount of tourist attractions up. It's absolutely disgusting. And I got to tell you, it's one of those things that absolutely just get your blood boiling. Now, I had a couple other things I wanted to talk about. This thing is like getting on my nerves. But let's get into the Epstein Pam Bondi situation. Let's remind everybody what Pam Bondi said in March.
Releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So that's what she said. Sorry, that was February. It was late February, early March. Sometimes my memory is not that great. So then you hear this today. And if everybody remembers back to the show that didn't exist, and I would pull tape on it if I had access to it, but I'm supposed to act like that didn't take place, but I'll reference it because it was things that I predicted. And many of you guys have been here when they came out dancing with the Epstein list. One of the things that drove me crazy was this is going to be nothing. You guys are setting yourselves up for nothing, and they're setting themselves up for nothing. And I rail against the administration when I see things that are going to hurt them for the midterms and for the next 4 years. When you diminish MAGA as bullshit, you give credence to what the left has been saying for how long? They have been saying this stuff about Donald Trump and the right. You guys are bullshit. It's lies. There's nothing. It's all conspiracy. We've been on a roll with the conspiracies. Every conspiracy has been proven true. And now you're telling me the one that's most clear as day that can't possibly be like hidden is trying to be hidden from us? We all know Epstein didn't kill himself. He's probably living somewhere in Iran right now. We all know this guy didn't kill himself. If he is dead, he was murdered. We all know that he had clients. You know how we know? Everyone told us. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, didn't you tell us? Didn't you say you had informants? Secret confidence sources? I'm pretty sure you got paid money to tell us that. You lied to our faces to tell us this stuff. And you're minimizing what MAGA means. And the saddest part about MAGA is no one even understands what it means. The left has created their own narrative for what MAGA means, and the right has done nothing about it. That's one of the biggest disappointments I have of people on the right and MAGA. You don't correct your liberal friends when they accuse you of things that MAGA's not a part about. And it pisses me off when I see our side doing things in the name of MAGA that proves them correct. This is the stuff that drives me crazy. Don't come out. Don't make a show of it. Do not make a show of the Epstein files unless you're ready to deliver. But they do. They make a show of it. They make a show of it. And then what happens? They do not deliver. And they're stuck in this now. They're stuck because their people know we're not stupid. We're not foolish. We know. We know when there's a worldwide pedophile ring and all of a sudden everything disappears. The thing that I'm pissed off about is you're telling me case closed. You're saying there's nothing to see here. You're saying there's no evidence. There's no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered. You're saying there's no evidence to it. Well, where the fuck did the evidence go? Because there obviously is, or you didn't do your jobs. Which is it? Did the FBI not do their jobs in the first place, creating absolutely nothing? Because that should be the story. No one's talking about it, are they? No. All we give a shit about the list is missing. Where's the list? Where's the list? Who got rid of the damn thing? Don't tell me case closed. You're going to sit there and say no evidence, case closed? This is, it's unacceptable to me. This is the stuff that we did not put you in there to do. We know that there was nefarious things going on in the FBI. That's why you're there, Pam Bondi. That's why you're there, Dan Bongino. That's why you're there, Kash Patel. We know there's things going on that are not on the up and up. We know it. You were agreeing with us not a year ago, making money off of it. Now your eyes are wide open, and you're telling us a totally different story. Who spoke to you? Who got to you? Somebody clearly did. And we have the gall, we have the balls to sit there and say, oh, everything Trump's doing is great. The deep state, he's taking on the deep state. No, the fuck he's not. No, he's not. And I don't blame Trump. Trump knows what's going on with the deep state. You know what Trump wants is some victories and to go down as a great president. That's what he wants. Don't be delusioned to think he doesn't want anything else. He wants to go down as a great president. So this big, beautiful bill is a win. This is a W. He's a salesman. He wants to grab W's, put them in his pocket, keep the wins, build on the wins. Trump knows these fucking idiots in Congress. Are they even going to be able to pass 5 bills like we want, like they promised in the first place? If they could barely pass one big one, what makes us think they could pass 6? Do you know how much work we're asking these incompetent morons to do? It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. And we're asking them over and over and over to come up with something that's going to help us out when everything they do hurts us. But Trump wants these W's. So I don't blame him so much. I do think there's things in there that's going to help us. I do think the tax cuts really helped us. But somehow the left is able to take advantage of it. Do you notice the left pushed the narrative that it was tax cuts for the wealthy when the wealthy got the lowest percent? They got the lowest percent. They paid the highest amount of money following that as their percentage went up. Do you know they paid more taxes after that bill got passed in 2017 since? The richest paid more. But yes, they made more, but they actually lost a percentage point. So when they make that much money, 1.5% difference, when they get a 2.5% increase and not a 4, that's a big difference. The lowest bracket's got a 4. No one knows that. It's not even out there. You probably never even knew that number. I think it was like 4, 4, 4, 3, and 2.5 for the different brackets. You don't know that because the Republicans do an absolute horrible job of telling you it. But I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of it. I hope you guys, I'm sick and tired of talking about Epstein. I'm sick of dealing with Iran. I'm sick of dealing with the things that are not helping the average American person out, and none of it is. None of it is. I don't think we're focused on what is actually going to help us out. I don't think Pam Bondi is focused on it. You're going back on what you said you were going to do, and then you're going after Maine for 3 girls playing against guys in girls sports or girls in girls sports. I don't understand the mindset that we have here. And I'm sorry, guys. I get called a lot of things. I got called. Let me see if I added that one in there. I was called so many things. I'm a liberal. I'm a moron. I was a dick licker. I was so many things because I came out and just said in 5 months, what have we gotten? What have we gotten? Now in 5 months, if I say the only thing they really came through with was closing the border, I think that's a gigantic W. If they did nothing and closed the border, I will say that's a gigantic W. If you didn't come here and you didn't tell me all the things that you were going to do, like Epstein, like the JFK files, and you didn't hype it up. Overpromising and under-delivering is the biggest problem that Republicans have, and it's a problem under Trump. It's only a problem under Trump. And the most insane thing about this is Trump, out of all the presidents I've ever been in alive for, has done more and fulfilled more of the promises than any of them. But he says them in the most bombastic ways. He says them to where it's like, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're doing it now, and we're doing it for sure. It's very interesting. I got to tell you, it is. It's very interesting to watch what happened. I had some stuff that's put up on the things that make me laugh. I don't know if I can even find them because they are all spread out. I think that segment would absolutely be a joke if I even tried to do it. Let's do this. The Fed Chair Powell. It's interesting because all these guys with taxes, let's move on to him really quick. When we get into these tariffs, it's funny real quick how tariffs have not turned out the way the doom and gloom is. That's one thing that the left definitely has, but they're able to say the same things over and over again without being held accountable for it, which is awesome. But they scream that tariffs were going to raise price. Sorry, tariffs. They are just taxes, but they were going to raise everybody's prices and increase inflation, and none of that has happened. And this is the Fed chair. I just want you to listen to this guy on tariffs.
Would the Fed have cut more by now if it weren't for the tariffs?
I think that's right. In effect, we went on hold when we saw the size of the tariffs and essentially all inflation forecasts for the United States went up materially as a consequence of the tariffs. So we didn't overreact. In fact, we didn't react at all. We're simply taking some time. As long as the U.S. economy is in solid shape, we think the prudent thing to do is to wait and learn more and see what those effects might be. And again, they haven't really shown up. For now, we're waiting.
And for now, we're waiting. So, I mean, that's their response. A lot of people say they're costing us a lot of money. I'm not even going to try to pretend that I could get into all of this stuff. All I know is I hear this phrase a lot. All of the experts agree on this. All of the experts agree on this. If all the experts agree, why are they just waiting? Why are they waiting? Because maybe all the experts have been wrong. Is that a possibility? Because to me, all the experts are consistently wrong. All the pundits are wrong. All the leading whatever in this have been wrong since COVID. Is this a possibility too with Jerome Powell? Was he wrong about tariffs? Were all the economists wrong about tariffs? Because you have CNN, you have MSNBC, they're doing video after video after video talking about how they're surprised that inflation is so far down and our billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that have already came in tariffs. And that's what Scott Bessent always says. Scott Bessent really thinks that the tariffs and a number of different issues that growth-wise, that we're going to be able to cut this deficit down. Let's see if this even makes any sense. I have Bessent in here.
Are paying down debt. We're going to grow the economy, and they were big contributors to this. So I believe that at the end of the day, they will be there for President Trump and give Speaker Johnson the ability to move this bill to the president's desk for signing this Friday.
There you go. So that was, I think, Thursday, Wednesday of last week that I saw that. That was actually in there from the Friday show. Some of these things did not upload. Like I said, it's been very interesting trying to do this show today. I'll tell you that much. I hope I am not killing you on this. All right, let's get to some breaking news and just some headlines right here, because that's like really the only thing that I could really see. I saw this from a buddy of mine. This is great. The irony of Mexicans rioting in Mexico City because Americans are legally moving there and stealing their homes and not learning their language or culture and making things nicer, mind you, while calling out Americans for being upset about Mexicans coming here illegally is absolutely hilarious. You cannot make this shit up. You cannot make this up. I have no idea how this irony is not on every single one of the news channels. It really wasn't when I was looking at that. This is the best. Pay taxes, learn Spanish, respect my culture. I feel like they're in America. I read the exact same sign somewhere at a No Kings rally the other day, all over the country. But this is the irony of what's going on in Mexico right now. And that story really is fucking outstanding. You have people that are who work remotely in America. They could go to Mexico, buy up a really nice house, live way cheaper, but make American wages. And apparently they don't pay really a lot of taxes to Mexico. And the people are upset because the Americans moving in are raising the value of their homes and they're pricing them out. They're pricing them out of their own areas. While at the same exact time coming here protesting in America for the complete opposite. That is just absolutely fucking hysterical. And I want to put that up one more time because I just love this. Pay taxes, learn Spanish, respect my culture. All right, let's get to something really cool. Trump's every child will receive a $1,000 S&P starter account at birth once Trump signs it, and he definitely signed it. This one's very interesting. It's basically like an account that your kid could open. This, I think, is a great idea. I don't know why we don't do this for a lot of our kids. Why, if we're really talking about giving kids a leg up and a hand up, and we want constant money flowing into the stock market, I don't see why we don't start kids off with a savings account that goes directly to them. And then they don't get it in one giant lump sum, when they turn 18. They could get that maybe when they turn 30 or whatever it is. But they could start using it to maybe build something, pay off maybe a year of school. Who knows? I mean, it's some type of savings account that'll help people get going. Therefore, if every single person has that kind of start, no, what are you going to complain about next? You're not getting enough money at birth? Because you know what's going to happen. Some people are going to take that money and give it to others. And you could give, like right now, you take Valentino and 1,000 people his age, give 1,000 people that money. And chances are 2 or 3 out of that 1,000 are going to have all the 1,000's money. And those 1,000 are going to give it to about 2 or 3 people who come up with cool shit. That's really what happens. It's the same exact thing with the sex sites. Women only choose 1 or 2 dudes. That's what happens. And the rest are sitting there jerking off. Sorry to say it, but it's the God's honest truth. All right. Hey, the WNBA. Let's check out the WNBA. They are fucking hysterical. The WNBA, it's time for a labor to be paid as the first CBA offer is rejected. The WNBA players demand better play. During the pre-games and blah, 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 Sophia Cunningham and read statements. Their statement demanded a fair share in the wages as they stated for the upcoming CBA. It's a defining moment for the league. Now, they lost $10 million last year, or $50 million last year. It's a lot of money. I think they lost $50 million and they had a great year. But they have a typical, like a loss of about $10 million. The league is growing in value, but they're still losing money. And when you look at the share of revenue, they have a higher share of revenue than the guys, and they don't bring any watchers in. And the problem with the WNBA is their best star, Caitlin, whatever the fuck her name is, a little white girl running around. They hate her because she's white. You have all these people that are literally mouthing on the sidelines, a stupid bitch-ass white bitch. You can read their lips saying it. You don't need John Boy Media for that. They're coming out fucking hitting this girl with elbows. They're hitting her with the front. They be doing Indian burns and shit. And she's the most foul person in the league. And she's tough. And she can shoot. She's like a little Steph Curry. But it's okay to be racist against this little white girl who came into the league and had an unbelievable following and has actually brought money into your league in value. And what they do in return is incredibly racist horseshit Then if this was an all-white league, it's like the reverse of what happened when the first black guy came into the NBA. We're literally watching the reverse of it in real time. And I don't like girls' sports. I can't watch it. Watching WNBA is the most horrific thing on the planet. Even that Caitlyn girl, she's good for a girl. I'm sorry, this is the misogyny in me coming out. I watch dude sports. It's better. Sorry, but it just is. But she made your game watchable. And it's awesome watching these people just kick the shit out of her and beat her up. Oh, man, the whole 9 yards. It is absolutely outstanding. Let's go here. New York City. Congratulations. New York City reportedly had no shootings or murders for the 4th of July in recorded history. Now, when something like that happens, I've been on I've sat here and I've sat in this chair and I've heard people blame the left and blame Mayor Adams in particular for a lot of the violence on the right. Does now Mayor Adams get the credit for no shootings on the 4th of July? Does he? I don't know. Or is it the NYPD just doing their jobs? You know, to me, it's the NYPD. Elon Musk apparently started. You had a whole bunch of people come out and say this. Elon Musk, breaking news. Elon Musk announced the creation of the America Party. And then everybody about 2 hours later put this up and said, Elon Musk says the FEC filing establishment of the creation of America Party is false. So who knows what's going on? I'm on the side that we need term limits, not another party. I'm sorry to say this, and this might irritate a lot of people, but we need term limits and not another party. We need to define winner and loser. I want a winner and I want a loser. I want two parties. I do. I just see a situation where, to me, Republicans get disinfected faster than Democrats do. Democrats tend not to be, in my opinion, as informed. And I'm not saying a lot of Republicans are informed. What I'm saying is there's a lot more Republicans that get informed and they inform themselves objectively and not through bias. And because of that, they tend to hold their politicians way more accountable. I've watched it take place in my town for years and years and years. Hey, guess what? Here's that MTG thing I found. Hey, great. I only needed you about 45 minutes ago. But I don't believe that we need a third party in this country. I really don't. I think that would take away from the Republicans, and the Republicans, by far the Republicans. I think whenever Democrats left the Democrat Party, they go right to the Libertarian Party. I watched it. I've seen what that party looks like. The America Party, I think, will take a lot of Republicans. I don't think it will take a lot of Democrats, because one of the videos that didn't come up, or I'm not going to be able to find, that I brought up, was actually a CNN video talking about how Democrats only have a 25% proud of America. Only 25% of Democrats are proud of America since 2015. In 2015 under Obama, there was 90%. 90% were proud of America. Trump gets in, there's only 27% that are proud of America. 27. And the difference is, if you look at the Republicans under the CNN numbers, it was 90% under Obama, and it's 91% under Trump. I think that's a clear difference between Republicans and Democrats. When we don't agree with the Democrats, and I say we like I'm part of the Republican Party. I am part of the right, I would say, in the Conservative Party, or the Conservative Libertarian Party, whatever it is. But we don't say that about America. We don't hate this country when we disagree with someone you voted for. No, I don't hate this country because Barack Obama. I didn't hate this country because Joe Biden was a moron and you guys voted him in. Did I look down upon some of you? Yes. Kind of the way I look at you when I'm wearing a mask. But I didn't hate you. I didn't hate Obama. I definitely don't hate Biden. And I definitely didn't hate this country. But somehow the left has the ability in their brains, because Donald Trump is running it, to think the entire country is now shit. And because of that, they will get motivated to completely change it from whatever Donald Trump is doing. That's why you see Zoran Mamawami, or whatever the fuck he wants, Wigwami, that is in New York. Breaking, this is two of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene to introduce legislation once again to prohibit use of chemical agents. And President Trump officially signs the big, beautiful bill into law. I think both of those things, great. I love that each one of those are taking place. What else? Do I have anything else that is in here? Because this, like I said, there is just stuff all over the place. I do apologize for this lack of any type of organization. I typically have this, you know, a lot better. And here was that one. There you go. There you go. DOJ drops 11-hour video of Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell on the night he died. They drop an 11-hour video that apparently had one minute missing. It was like a 1 minute skip that was missing. Very interesting with that story. But what are you going to do? They dropped that 11-hour video. Apparently, this video, once again, this video exists when they said that camera was broken, and they confirmed the camera was broken. We heard the other FBI guy talk about the camera was broken. Now they have an 11-hour video that happens to prove the entire thing, all of it, every last bit of it. Once again, guys, I think that is about it. Oh, sorry. Here we go. 2 more things. Let's go. President Trump floats the idea of deporting Americans who commit heinous acts. I don't know why we should deport them. Oh, one of the videos, man, that once again, I don't want to sit here and just try to find this, but I don't know if you heard Trump talking about bears. He wants a different name for he likes alligator Alcatraz so much. He was floating the idea of, you know, bears in one of the jails and naming different things for different animals. It was fucking hysterical. I don't know where I think he's in trolling mode. He's in full trolling mode. Oh, here's a horrible story. I'm just popping things up as I find them because this is so unorganized. 51-year-old man with a Hebrew neck tattoo is arrested after crucifying a Christian pastor in Arizona and placing a crown of thorns on his head. This is a 51-year-old Hebrew guy. You know, interesting, because I bet you did not hear about that story, because it is violence against Christians. Nobody gives a shit about violence against Christians. You are not one big mass group of people, and you don't get anybody. You have no grievances. You get to get killed. You get this type of thing happening now. If a Christian killed him and left the Star of David on that guy's head carved into it, that would be on every news outlet everywhere. Oh, let me see. Is this what I was called earlier? Oh yeah, this is what I was called. When I do things like this, guys, when I do things like come out and talk and criticize the administration, once again, you all know my standard. If I would criticize Biden for it, I'm going to criticize Trump for it. If I would criticize the Democrats, I'm going to criticize the Republicans. Period. That is my standard, no matter what. And when I do, I always get this. I don't always read something mind-numbingly stupid, but when I do, it's always from a Democrat. Of course, I always happen to be a Democrat. Oh, here's one more. These are just popping up here. Ready? I had a lot planned for you. Like I said, a psychological warfare officer, Howard Gebler, is linked to a group that had contact with Harvey Oswald prior to the JFK assassination. The CIA now admits, you know, when they do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, don't you just say, is our government behind everything? I mean, everything. That's why a lot of their cloud seeding events, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, it just seems, I don't know. It just seems like it's not beyond the realm of possibility that this stuff could take place. And the last thing we're going to talk about, Carmelo Anthony. I didn't talk about this, but after raising $540,000, Carmelo Anthony requested a taxpayer-funded defender, claiming indignity. Simultaneously, his family raised the donation goal to $1.4 million. Last I heard, I think it was closed out at $540,000. But apparently the parents pocketed all of that money. But who knows? I'm not saying they did that. All I'm saying is that story we should learn something behind on the problems with parenting, number one, because their parents clearly had an issue. The problem with rushing to race results and trying to throw race. The problem with American media as a whole. I think there's a lot of things that we need to learn from that story. And that story could teach us a lot. And you know who else could teach us a lot about that story? That kid's father. Because I don't think nobody, not me and you reading these stories, reacting, sitting on our couches saying that was horrible, reacted as well as that father did. And I'll tell you something right now. If that was my kids, I wouldn't be reacting like he was. I wouldn't be praying for Carmelo Anthony. That guy's a way better human being than I am. That I will tell you. But thank you guys very much for joining us. I do apologize 100% for a lot of things. Couldn't read the chat. I didn't see it at all today. I know you guys were commenting. Maybe something's going on with Rumble. I do not know. And I do apologize about this issue. I have no idea why I cannot move things. It is on your marks. All right. It's not letting me grab. I tried to grab something to move it. It's not letting me do it. It's not letting me actually put this organized the way I usually have this set up. So I do, like I said, I apologize for that. But I still, if you can, hit the hell out of my like button, finger the hell out of it, give it the tap, just a light touch. That's all you need, unless you want to finger blast it. I am not going to stop you from finger blasting anything in your life. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you being part of the Couch Drop, the Center Cut Media family. I do ask you the one thing over and over and over again that I do ask you to do is share this show. The more you share it, the more I get out, the more of a coalition that we could join up, that we could create. You guys understand this. I am creating a coalition both locally and nationally. And if we could get local and national to team up, that's when we start getting a little bit of power. There's one thing I know in this world. There's one thing I know with our system. Individually, you could do nothing. But if you have a group, and it doesn't have to be a big group, you could do a lot. So I need a lot of like-minded people. I need the like-minded people that do believe in this to share this. Let's grow this. Let's grow the chats on every single one of the platforms. Remember, like me on Center Cut Media, on any one of our shows. Also check out everybody that's cool with us. PT Pod, Fresh Mike, all of his pods. Check them out. The Bearded Viking Me guys, and I am definitely going to be probably making some appearances on I Came With Fire as well. But these are all the people that have supported me, that have had my back, and everybody else that has had my back. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being part of the Couch Drop. You too can be a Couch Drop. Be a defender of your own mind. Be a defender of what's true in your own mind. Don't believe the bullshit. Don't just believe it if it's coming from your side. Question everything. And when you start questioning everything, you will become a Couch Drop, and you will defend your mind from the piles of shit that are trying to manipulate it. I'm defending you with this show. You defend yourself. Become a Couch Drop. But this Couch Drop is out.